That's the calculus notes. This one. Okay, so we're talking about the interval notation. So it depends. If I want to present this in interval notation, there will be 0 to infinity. If I want to present this in interval notation, this will be parenthesis -3, 4 with a bracket. If I want to present x less than +4, then this will be -∞ to 4. I'm not sure, is there something specific that you have in mind, or with that question?
The one in the review sheet, number 2 in it.
Oh, number 2. Oh, solve this inequality?
Yeah, like I got the answer, I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. So we have 1/3 minus x over 4 less than 2x minus 5/2. I thought you wanted some examples. I'm sorry, my apologies.
No, I'm good with any examples you want to make up, but that one specifically, I want.
Sure. So we multiply both sides by 12 because that's the least common denominator. And it is wise, since we have fractions here, it is wise to write it as we multiply by 12 over 1, we multiply by 12 over 1, we multiply by 12, and we multiply by 12 over 1. Because it is always recommended to simplify first, then multiply, and then simplify. Both are acceptable. You get full credit in either way. So 12 divided by 3, this is 4. 12 divided by 4, this is 3. 2x times 12 is 24x. And 2 divided by 2 and 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that's minus 30. This is the step I would recommend at the beginning. After that, just move terms around the way you want them. I prefer keeping everything, the variable, I should say, on the left-hand side. So I will move 24 to the left, and I get negative 27x. I will move 4 to the right, and I get negative 34. Obviously, I will simplify, or if you want to say, our next step would be to divide both sides by negative 27, then you get this. So the interval notation is 34 over 27 to infinity. I like to write in front x is a number in the interval. The mathematical symbol is actually this, but we don't have to use that. Or you don't have to use anything if you don't want to. I'm fine with either. Good. Anything else you would like to go back to? Anything? Number 11. In number 11, we have a function f of x. Any questions on the previous one before we continue? Any questions on the previous one? Are we okay with the previous one? Yes? Yes? Questions? Please stop me if you have questions at any point in time. That's never considered interruption or anything like that, or disruptive, or please. Okay, so in this case, we're asked to find the average rate of this function between 1 and 4. The definition is f of 4 minus f of 1 over 4 minus 1. F of x2 minus f of x1 over x2 minus x1. And now let's determine f of 4. Let's determine f of 1 and just put them in. How much is f of 4? Can anyone calculate f of 4? So 4 squared is 16 times 2 is 32, but negative 4 plus 4, 0. So this is 32 minus. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 plus 5 is 6. Right? 1 plus 4 is 5, sorry. And 4 minus 1 is 3. So the numerator is 27, the denominator is 3. So the rate of change in this case, it does not have a measurement unit. It should have 2 measurement units, actually. One coming from the top and one coming from the denominator. But in this case, it's all abstract. We don't have measurement units. Do you all have this handout? Is anyone that I missed? Did I miss anyone in last time? Okay. I do have a few more if you, for some reason, I'm not sure why, they made more copies for me. You want an extra copy to work on, or anyone? No. Okay, perfect. Sure. 1, 2. 1, 2. Yes. 1, 2. 1, 2. Absolutely. I just haven't. I haven't any copies. One, two. Okay, next question.
Number 14.
Number 14. And number 14, we have the difference quotient. Please do not forget to prepare for the difference quotient. The difference quotient will be given to you as f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. This is the difference quotient. It will be given to you. The function will be given to you, which is, in this case, negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 10. And we're asked to determine the difference quotient and fully simplify it. What do we do first? Every time we are asked to find and simplify the difference quotient, where is our starting point? Also, there are two different things that have to happen for the difference quotient every time we calculate it. What are those two things that have to happen?
The top should cross out except for
All terms without h must go away. Perfect. And eventually, h in the denominator must go away. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Good, so where is our starting point then here?
finding f of x plus h.
Yes, I have these two, sort of. I can't do anything, right? But I have to find f of x plus h. Very good. So f of x plus h. Now I have to remember what to do. So how do I proceed here? Negative 2, and then
X plus h squared.
in parentheses, squared, minus 4, in parentheses, x plus h, and plus 10. Very good. Now let's think for a moment and see where is the next step. Because the order of operations has to be applied, and I have to fully simplify this expression. So I copy negative 2, and then what do I write?
X squared plus 2x h plus h squared.
Excellent, thank you. You make me very proud. Because a binomial squared has how many terms? Very good, awesome. So only now I can distribute negative 2. Negative 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared minus 4x minus 4h and plus 10. All this will replace this. And now we are much closer to determining the difference quotient and simplifying it. So for the difference quotient, as you would probably expect, I will run out of room in a second, of course, because all this is just the first part. Then remember, we have to distribute negative 1 to these three terms. Negative f of x. We will distribute negative 1 to all three terms. So I'm going to copy this first. Negative 2x squared minus 4xh minus 2h squared minus 4x minus 4h and plus 10. And then positive 2x squared, positive 4x, and minus 10. For the first time ever, I did not run out of room. It's, you know, I'm not here tomorrow, the math lab is open, so if you're here and if you need help right away, please go in. Also Friday, right? Wednesday, please come, Monday, please come in early if you'd like to start early, that's one day. Also, if you have questions, please come in early, bless you, on Monday. Good, so we expect terms without x to go away, without h, sorry, to go away, and they do, here they are. All these six terms are gone. And I see 3 terms left. In order to remove the h in the denominator, I have to pull out an h from those 3 terms. Well, obviously, if all terms without h went away, their existing terms have h in common. That's the whole deal. And if they have h in common, and I pulled it out, then what is left in parentheses? Negative 4x minus h and minus 4. And that is the final answer because that's what happens next. Negative 4x minus 2h and minus 4. And that is fully simplified, is the difference quotient fully simplified for this function. What does it give? It almost gives the rate of change at any point, instantaneous rate of change at any point. Almost. It's not exactly. Very good. Anything else?
Can we do 13?
Yes. Which one we would like to start with?
A.
A. Let's start with A. Sure, of course. Remember, all problems are similar to the problems we did in class. If you diligently work on the problems we do in class, you should have no difficulties. However, remember those that list of questions from the text, the recommended problems. Here they are. You should always check yourselves after you study the problems we did in class. You should always check yourselves with problems from the book. All these have the answers in the back. If you do not get the answer from the back, then you should let me know so I can help you. Okay, so please remember that. Okay, you have plenty of problems to check with your understanding. So this is, if you don't, I'm sure I gave these handouts to you, but if you missed, or maybe I missed, let me know. I have plenty. Okay? Good. So these are the sections for the test from the very beginning till 2.4. Then test 2 will stop here. And then test 3 will be the whole thing. It's a lot of work. Okay? So this should be right immediately after the spring break. And all this towards the end. It's a lot. Okay? Good. So the first one is the square root of x plus 13 equals x minus 7. If you need me to show you in your notes where these problems come from, I will come over, show me your notes, and I'll show you where they are. I know we all forget. Good. What type of equation is this, and how do I address this? Yes, it is a radical equation. Thank you. We have the square. Excellent. The left-hand side. And also, keep in mind, I'm trying to keep this up if possible. We're basically using 2 sessions for one test. A full session to review and a full session for the test. So hopefully we can keep this up and still finish the material. Okay, on the right-hand side, what do I write? Thank you. Thank you. Because a binomial squared has how many terms? Yes, I know I sound like a broken record. I apologize to all of you, but it's the only way. So this is now quadratic. I have x squared minus 15x plus 36 equals 0. I moved the x to the other side, it became negative. I moved 13 to the other side, it became negative. I have to set it equal to 0 because it's quadratic. We have 4 methods of solving quadratic equations. Which 2 you will completely disregard at this point? No, which methods? Let me refresh your memory on the 4 methods. Factoring, taking square roots, completing the square quadratic formula. Which 2 you will not think of right now for this problem? Say it again. You mean no? So the answer is you're half correct, actually. Completed the square, no. I will not use complete the square here. You cannot force me to, because it's a problem inside another problem. It's a quadratic equation inside another problem, unless you specify from the very beginning. I will never use the completing the square. Which other method from the remaining 3 you cannot use here? Factoring is possible, but it's very easy to factor, so that's not the one. Which one is not applicable right now? Say it again. Oh, quadratic formula is always applicable. Which is the one that is not applicable here, other than the fact that we don't want to complete the square? We just don't want to. Complete the square is always applicable, but we just refuse to complete the square. So what is, of course, it's not set up for taking square roots. You can't take the square root from both sides, right? So we only have 2 options. We either try to factor. If factoring works in 30 seconds, if it doesn't work in 30 seconds, forget about it, and just use the quadratic formula. So do we need more than 30 seconds to factor? If we do, forget it. Let's use the quadratic formula. We don't want to waste time. But do we need more than 30 seconds to factor? Is that a yes? Is that a no? We need more than 30 seconds? We don't need more than 30. I agree. So what is the factor form? Anyone? Very good. X minus 12 and x minus 3. So we have x equals 13, x equals 12, and x equals 3. And this comes with a big question mark. We don't know if any of these work. So the original problem was this. So let's plug in 12 and see if we get a true statement. If we plug in 12, do we get a true statement? What do we get on the left-hand side? Right? So 12 plus 13 is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. So the left-hand side is 5. Is the right-hand side 5? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, so then I'll say yes. Now let's plug in 3. The left-hand side is, which is 4. And the right-hand side is? Good. Acceptable or not? Good. So the equation has only one solution. Any questions? Say it again. Say it again. Is it okay? Okay. Other questions, please? Anything here? The next one in line is x cubed plus 3x squared equals 81x plus 243. I copied all these problems again from problems we did in class, from your book, or from my math lab. Everything is right there. You just have to practice it or ask questions. Okay, so then, what type of equation is this? Say it again. Yes, what type of equation is it? This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that 24 cubed or 243. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. What type of polynomial?
It's a polynomial.
Okay, I tricked myself. Okay, how do we solve this?
Subtract.
Absolutely, thank you very much. Thank you. And then what? This is the only hint I have for you. By, factor by, grouping. Very good. What will you factor out from the first two?
X squared.
Okay, what is left in parentheses?
X plus 3.
What do I have to have coming from the other two before I refuse to look, before I write it? It has to be an x plus 3. If I don't write it, who knows what else I come up with? That would be wrong. So I'd rather write it first. And then now, what? You understand it will completely collapse if by mistake I write here x minus 3 because I can't continue. So that's why I put x plus 3 first and then try to figure out. I cannot fabricate anything. It has to be there. So what do I have in front? Negative 81. Awesome. You can always go back and check. Negative 81 times this, and negative 81 times 3, 4, and 24. I mean 3 and 24. Correct. Which is the common factor now? And you notice that you have two terms, first and second. And what do I have to pull out? Indeed. And then what is left in parentheses?
X squared minus 81.
But we know what to do with this. We even practiced this formula on the first day of class. It's on the handout.
X plus 9.
I should have asked you from the very beginning and forgive me because we have to put it in writing. What is the degree of this polynomial? How many solutions? So degree 3, 3 solutions. Please remember that. Do we have 3 solutions here? And they are? Excellent. Nothing is too bad. Everything is in your notes. Please. I don't mind begging you. I am begging you. Maybe that means something. Okay. Because I do care very much. So x to the 4th minus 5x squared equals negative 4. That's the last equation in number 13. Okay, so what do we do with this?
Set the equation 0.
Very good, awesome. What is its degree? Good, how many solutions? So degree 4, 4 solutions. But now, let's identify the type of equation because it may belong to more than one category. We already said, we didn't say it, but it's degree 4, obviously. It's also polynomial. But we're not going to actually treat it as a polynomial equation, although we know we have to find 4 solutions. We're going to treat it as what type of equation? Say it again. No. Say it again. Quadratic in form. Thank you. We are going to notice that this can be replaced by t. Therefore, this will be replaced by? So then the equation is t squared minus 5t plus 4 equals 0, which does not need more than 30 seconds to factor. Very good. So then we have 2 solutions for t. What do we do next? Because we can't leave the answer in t. So replace t by,
X
so then this equation becomes what?
squared. X squared equals
Very good. And this equation becomes,
X squared equals 4.
do we agree with this step? Do we understand this step? Yes? Is that clear? I just replaced t by x squared and x squared. And now, which of the four methods is applicable here immediately? Which one?
Completing the square.
It's already completed. I will never complete the square. Only you have to force me, like this. I complete the square. I'm trying to be funny. Okay, so what do we do? Take the square root. It's quadratic. We apply square root to both sides and we get x equals. Thank you very much. And x equals. And here are our four solutions. Very good. Great job. Thank you, guys. Anything else? Is there anything else that you would like to review?
Number 12.
Number 12. In number 12, we have negative 2x plus 3y equals 12. We're asked to graph using x and y-intercepts. Please do not waste your time to solve for y. There is no need. So when x is 0, just cover that term, divide both sides by 3, and get y equals 4. 0, 4. When y is 0, just cover that term, divide both sides by negative 2, and get that x equals negative 6. So then negative 6, 0. Go ahead, please.
Man,
That's all you need to do. Don't waste your time to solve for y. It's complicated and you don't need it. It's not just that it's not useful here, but you're wasting your time. And that's all. And now I will graph. Here it is. I graph negative 6, 0 right here. 2, 4, 6, yes. And 0, 4. Connect and extend the line. You must write its name somewhere, anywhere you want on the graph. I'm going to write it here. Negative 2x plus 3y equals 12. You can write it anywhere you want near the graph. It doesn't matter, but you have to write it. And you can say why. You will see in the next chapter, not immediately, towards the end of the class, this semester, when we will have several graphs on the same coordinate system, and we need to know which one is which. So please get in the habit of always writing the function or the equation, whatever you graphed, somewhere next to it. It doesn't matter where. It's up to you. Good. Anything else you would like to review?
One.
1A. Let's take a look at 1A. It's in your notes at the beginning of the class. Let's do it again. I think we did it last time, but it's also in your notes. But if you want me to do it again, I'll do it again, or we can choose another equation. Say it again.
I would like
Okay, so let's look at another equation, because this is in the notes from last time. So let's choose another rational equation. And those problems are in section 1.2. And let's look at problem 50 on page 120. And that is 6 over x plus 3 and minus 5 over x minus 2 they say equals negative 20 divided by x squared plus x minus 6. Remember, I accept any legitimate method as long as it makes sense, right? It has to be a legitimate method. If you do not like this method that I present, you are not hurting my feelings, I promise. Use the method you understand best. Okay, I recommend, however, this one. First of all, you know that when a numerator of a fraction is negative, the entire fraction is negative. So you can replace the right-hand side by 20 over x plus 3, x minus 2. The right-hand side is 6 over x plus 3 and minus 5 over x minus 2. So what did I accomplish so far? I only wrote the fraction on the right-hand side as it should be with minus in front and 20 over, and I factored the denominator. At this step, I will do what? What do you think I will do next? I know you know.
Find the least common denominator.
Correct, but first I will write that x cannot be negative 3 and x cannot be 2. The restrictions are mandatory before we continue. Because now, or very soon, the denominators will disappear, and then I will not have denominators to state restrictions on, and then I will not be able to find or compare what I get towards the restrictions, with the restrictions. So far, so good?
Yes.
Good, so now I move everything to one side and I set this equal to 0. I copy the first fraction as 6 over x plus 3. I copy the second one as negative 5 over x minus 2. Can you tell me what I should copy next? Very good, awesome, thank you. 20 over x plus 3, x minus 2. I don't like the idea of multiplying both sides, but I accept it. It's a legitimate method. But do not multiply before you state restrictions. One more time, please be careful. If you are using a different method, that's fine, but you must state the restrictions first. Okay. What I like to do is this. Find the least common denominator, which is x plus 3, x minus 2. If you forget the equal symbol and 0 on the right-hand side, again, you're not going to solve. You're going to just simply change it into an expression, and that's not what you want to do. So careful with that. Especially in a, in the heat of a test, we tend to forget certain things. Okay, obviously, you have to find adjustments for the numerators. Why? Because you changed the denominator of a fraction, so you have to change the numerator accordingly. Meaning, if you multiply the denominator of the first fraction by x minus 2, you have to multiply the numerator by x minus 2. If you multiply the denominator of x minus 2 here by x plus 3, you have to multiply the numerator by x plus 3. And the last one, if you just want to, for uniformity, you can just put 1 or nothing, because it's the same denominator. It does not need anything. So at this point, we will need to continue how and why. Can anyone help next here? Yes, indeed, 6x minus 12. So I have to distribute 6. And then minus 5x and minus 15 and plus 20. Very good. Okay, the numerator now it has to be combined like terms. So I have x, and this is negative 27, and plus 20 will be minus 7 over x plus 3, x minus 2. So here's another option for you. When is a fraction 0? A fraction is 0 only when the numerator is excellent. So from here, I need to write that x minus 7 is 0 or x equals 7. My first thought is it among the list of restrictions? No, it's not. That's fine. So x equals 7 is the solution. Steve, is it okay? Okay, so a fraction is undefined when the denominator is 0, but the fraction is 0 when the numerator is 0. Or you just do this. put it over 1, and cross multiply, and you get the same answer. Is this okay, everyone? Yes? Okay. So which are the topics you would like to review? I couldn't hear you. Which one?
No.
Finding rate of change of function.
Yes, we just did that. Yes, with 4 and 1? Yes, a minute ago. We can do it again.
But we did. Yeah, we did.
Is there any other topic that you would like to review? Which one?
Number 5.
Number 5 it is. Let's take a look. In number 5, we are given a rectangular court with 27 square feet in area. And the width is x and the length is 6 feet longer. Okay. So we're asked to determine the dimensions, the length and the width of this court. So is there anything I could write?
N equals L minus 6W.
Yes, very good, which means 27 equals x times x plus 6. Awesome. So length times width or width times length, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing, equals the area that was given to us. What do you think we have to do next? Obviously, distribute, get x squared plus 6x minus 27. And this is a quadratic equation. Which two methods you will not think of applying?
Completing the square and square roots.
Exactly. The square root is not, I can't because it's not, the square is not completed. And I'm not going to complete the square. So I have two options. Either factor, if it takes less than 30 seconds. Otherwise, I'm not going to waste my time. I have a second method, which is taking the quadratic formula. So less than 30 seconds, x minus 3 and x plus 9. Very good. So we have two options, as 3 feet and negative 9 feet, which is not acceptable. So if the width of the garden or whatever that is 3 feet, how much is the length?
9.
Very good. That's it. Excellent.
Can we do 6,
Yes, of course.
please?
Let's do 6. Since I wrote a lot on that one, let me get a fresh one. For number 6. For number 6, we are given a graph. And we're asked to determine max min and where. Okay, so I will say max at x equals negative 3. Min, of course, relative min, of course. Relative min at negative 4. And x equals negative 2. And now the relative min is -1. It's right here. And the relative max for both points. Relative max is right here, which is 3. Is that clear? Next question, please. Let's not waste time. Any questions on number 6? Is this okay? Okay, perfect. Anything else?
4.
Let's take a look at 4. I thought we did 4, but maybe not. Let me take another fresh. No. I don't remember. I do not remember. We did?
Did something similar to
Oh, let's do it. Of course, yes. Very good. Okay, so is this a function? The answer is yes. Yes, by the vertical line test. That's the correct answer. Very good. Find the domain. And then find the range. Can anyone give us the domain of this function?
3, 0.
Yes, I would definitely say between 0 and 4. Yes. 0 with the bracket and 4 with the parenthesis. Can anyone give us the range of this function? -9 to 7, I agree. -9 and 7 with the parenthesis. Perfect. Find the x and y-intercepts if they exist. I see right here an x-intercept, and I see right here the y-intercept. So the x-intercept will be 3, 0. And the y-intercept 0, -9. Perfect. We're asked to find f of 2. Yes. For f of 2, I have to draw a vertical line. It's not very easy, but it crosses the graph at this point, and I read -5. Find x such that f of x is 5. Now, the question is completely opposite. We are given y. So I have to draw a horizontal line. It meets the graph at this point. I cannot read 4. I have to read 3. I'm sorry. I have to read 3 point something, not 4, because 4 is just this open point. So I'm going to say x is approximately 3.8. I don't really know for sure. It could be 3.7. It could be 3.9. But definitely not 4. Because 4 is a little bit further to the right.
So don't use an equal sign. Use the bucket sign on equal sign.
Say it again.
The equal sign lines are a big curve, which is the bucket.
So the equal sign, you mean for the brackets and parentheses?
No, I mean x equals 3.8. Would it be approximately 3.8?
Oh, yes. Yes. I completely agree. I don't know what that is, so I'm going to say, as you said, probably.
I think it's approximately.
Yes. Yes. I don't know what it is. I know for sure it's not 4.